Well, what is going on, everybody? Hope that you are off and running this week. Here we are in April already, right? I was thinking about that myself this past weekend, that we are basically 100 days, or this week we will hit 100 days through the year already. So we are approaching 33% done on the year. I mean, that's to me always something to like look at. Like, where are we at with our goals? Where are we at with the things that we have set? Most of us set good, lofty things, and how are you tracking with that? Are your actions, are your leads, is your agenda in alliance with the things that you have set at the beginning of this year? So today we are going to be taking a look at a couple of just, mathematical facts. I love, there is a ton of doom and gloom with, all of the tariffs, and everybody's saying, you have some people saying, hey, this is needed. Some people saying, this administration is going to destroy middle class. Now that the pressure is on and out there, it is, become abundantly clear that Jerome Powell is going to need to have to cut the rates, which I think is going to happen because the stage is set to do that. However, what I want to do is take a look at, really the history of the last year. February is what I have the numbers up to, from February 24 to February 25. So I'm going to turn on my chat here, but I'm really curious, as I do this, do me a favor, drop a Y or an N if this market shift is directly affecting you. Y for yes, it's affecting you. No, and an N for no, it's not affecting you, and you're just kind of, pushing through and making sure that it's kind of business as usual. You're pushing through and really having this opportunity. So like I said, do me a favor, drop a Y if yes, the market shifts and the slowdown and the demand is directly affecting you. Drop an N in the chat if no, it's not affecting you and it's business as usual. Lisa, thank you for being honest. Appreciate that. Come on, guys, we got a good group out here. So a Y or an N, is it affecting you or not? Love it. Blanca, how are you today? Yes, being affected. Cindy, being affected. Okay, cool. Yeah, these are things that we do anticipate what's going on, and that's the whole beauty of what we're going to be looking at today. Is what is the you probably have a lot of people that are almost kind of like fear mongering, right? Like wondering what's going to go on, and they're sitting on that very uncomfortable fence because they're waiting to see, which way things are going to go. So it looks like we're actually having a pretty resounding yes from the audience that we have on here. So let me go. I actually am even more compelled to share this with you now that's the sentiment here with all of you guys. Okay. So give me a thumbs up on in the chat if you guys are seeing that good and clear. Real estate trend, market trends over 24 and 25. So as I was doing a little bit of research and preparing for today, I always find these, the stats when we look at like the microcosm of the moment very, very interesting, because when you look at this and actually do a year-over-year comparison, rates are slightly higher than they were last year. But as you're going to see here in just a second, there's actually some more demand. And so the beauty of this, right, when you really start looking at the last 8 months since June and July of last year, the rates have come down about a half a point in most cases. And, there's a lot of economists that really say that, hey, in order for affordability to come into play, we really need to get in the low sixes, high fives. Now, that is the thing I want all of us to be thinking about. And I want to give you guys a little bit of a pro tip right off the bat with this. One of the biggest things that I think I see as a mistake being made is us not getting clear on our target audience when we go to price. So many times, don't get me wrong, we need to look at the comps, we need to look at the pendings, we need to look at the solds. But sometimes when we're pricing a property if somebody's needing to get their house sold or wanting to buy a house, there's a lot of things that you can do to strategically put yourself strategically create a different value proposition for that prospect. Allow me to elaborate. So one of the things is yes, we will look at the comps, but part of one of the things I think that gets missed is looking at the other available data, such as what is the income of that particular area. Case in point, let's say that the household income is an average of $150,000. And if that average sales price inside of that neighborhood is now going to be $725, $750, something like that, like I see a ton all over the valley here, well, that's going to make them predominantly house poor. And that's going to be very, very tough, where we are looking for more of that upper echelon of household income for that middle class home, right? Depending on where you're at in the country, it is not uncommon now to have a nice suburban home be $600,000 to $800,000, and that's really one of the things I think that the market is trying to sort through now is really find its legs around affordability. So I think that that's where these types of things really kind of come into play, and I want to implore you guys to be thinking about your business from these things. So yes, you have a house. Let's say it's a nice house, and we'll use a good price of, again, depending on your local market, we're going to keep it between that $500,000 to $800,000, because I think that that's going to fit in that middle class, raise your kids, your good live cycle home for a lot of folks. So when you really look at that price point, these are two, usually a married couple, has two kids, has possibly a dog, they're stable in their career, right? A lot of that ideal client that we want. Well, now we have that house that these folks are either going to downsize or possibly be looking to get clients into. Well, again, if we are looking at what is the affordability factor, and if you have a subject property that has an outdated kitchen or maybe needs a little bit of paint, it's a great home. The bones of it are fantastic. It's anywhere from 10 to 20 years old. Well, here's what I wanted to challenge you guys to be thinking about: the problems that we need to solve to be able to really make this property stand out. The reality of it is so many folks, like I just gave the analogy of, they're not going to have the cash to walk in, and after the down payment, they're not going to have the cash to remodel the property. They're not going to necessarily, or even sometimes not even paint. There's a lot of properties out there that you have backyards that maybe they're just grass or rock and it's landscaped. But the reason why I'm having this conversation is because, again, I want you guys to level up your business to where we really look at how are we going to solve these problems? How are we going to position this property that we're looking to sell and make a key difference? So these, of course, as we know, within the Zoodealio ecosystem, these are problems that we're going to be able to come in and solve and be able to make sure that that property has its proper shine on, and you can present it to the marketplace, fetching that higher price. Because one of the things I want to, again, just really emphasize here is when people are being hilted, to the higher side of affordability, and their mortgage payment is 35% of their gross household income. Well, that, again, as we all know, that's really pushing on the affordability factor. And so if the house is borderline unaffordable for the demo based on the financial economic class that's living inside that neighborhood, well, something's got to give. And so that's where, again, when we can come in and say, hey, here's the house, your dream house, everything is dialed in, and you don't have to have the liquidity of cash to fix that backyard, to remodel the property, to come in and paint it, right? Of course, there's going to be small customizations that they're going to do over time, but if we can solve that and give them the house of what they want, these are, again, key differentiators that you're going to be able to have. All right, let me progress my slide here. Okay, so I thought this was, again, super, great information to know, because again, home sales from February 24 to February 25 actually went up by about 5,000 across the country. That's, again, that's, good. That demand is showing increase. Now, these are compressed numbers of what we typically see, right? I mean, when we start getting into 50,000 homes, or excuse me, 500,000 homes, if we were to do that over the course of the year, that would give us about that 6 million home sales, which is when the market is definitely thriving. But as you can see in January and December, right, those numbers dip down. And so, again, a lot of the projections on a national basis are going to be right around 4 million home sales, which is what they were last year. It was just underneath 4 million, and the year before it was just over 4 million at 4.1. Again, the reason why we need to know what's going on at that macro large level is because these are the things that are going to be affecting us on our micro markets. Now, I do want to implore everybody to, take a look at your stats, know what they are in your city. If you're in a big city, then know what they are in your area, know what it is in your zip codes that you work, and then especially if you happen to be hyper-focused on subdivisions and those types of things. It's all about being the expert so that you can position yourself in inserting yourself in these conversations and being that, the real estate mayor of that subdivision, of your city, or whatever you're working. So again, I want to make sure that everybody's just looking at these math and the proper path so that we can educate our consumers, because so many of those whys that we saw just a second ago, it really comes down to the psychology of the sale. It comes down to the psychology of, is it better to sell my house right now because I have a boatload of equity, because I bought 10 years ago, I rode this huge equity wave, and prices I'm going to progress my slide here, the next one, as you can see. Prices have actually, teetered down a little bit from the highs of last year, but that's not a huge dramatic hit, right? So now I can still potentially fetch a higher price for my property, but even though my interest rate is a little bit higher than I want it to be, can I cover that with the down payment? Can I cover that with, potentially looking at a 2-1 buy down? Right now, granted, there's a lot of the 2-1 buy downs. Can they get to the rate of where that's going to be after that? The buying down the rate for 2% for the first year is going to mature, and then 1% for the second year, right? That's the gamble that a lot of these people are going to have to potentially make. Again, they have some attractive rates on even ARMs and things like that as well, to be able to get people into that affordability factor to help them move. Now, again, I want to implore you guys to know what these things are, how they affect your particular home seller, because so many people start the home sale process with, where am I going to go next? Right? After I get this home sold, where is it that I'm going to go next? And here's the beauty of it, guys. We get to help them uncover that why. That's the beauty of the home report and all the systems and processes that I'm about to take you into, is being able to uncover their why. Why do you want to move? Your family's expanding. Oh, that's great news. You're in a 3-bedroom, you're in a 3-2 right now that's 1,550 square feet, right? Very much so like the house I grew up in, where potentially, maybe the family's expanding. And in order to expand, we need more room. So it's just kind of uncovering why is that important to them, to help them get from where they are to where they want to be, right? Here's the thing I want everybody, for all of us, to be thinking about, right? So those of you that are involved in Seller Source, that are on this already, I am definitely going to touch on that today, because our lead flow is just, awesome. But the beautiful thing with having a product, having a unique value proposition is you get to inspire the lead. The beauty of that piece of it is having the cash offers, being able to assist them in buying their next house in cash ensuring they get a great deal, right? So these are things where we get to plant seeds and water it and create transactions for ourselves that possibly we're going to be 12 months, 18 months, 24 months away, and we're going to make them happen between now and the next 6 months. So with that, let me actually jump out of this guy here. A lot of us know what Seller Source is, but those of you that don't, just a quick little tidbit on what this is and how this works is, at Zoodealio, we have uncovered several different sources to where we can create very, very healthy seller lead flow. How we've been able to crack the code on this is really just, where is the demand, which is really pretty much everywhere in the country. And as you look at this slide here, this is where we have a lot of cash buying partners that buy homes in the platform that go direct to consumer. Then we have partnered with them on a lot of their turn downs so that they can take a look at these particular pieces. And again, I'm going to be quick on some of this because again, I know a lot of us are involved in Seller Source, but one of the things that we've been able to do is uncovering probates to where that data is going to be consistently pumped inside your account. The buying partner turn downs, which I just turned on. This is the huge one, guys, the likely home sellers and being able to grab those algorithms to where we can create a seller score, because now I can capture their online events. I can capture that they're an absentee owner. I can capture that they're a divorce filing. I can capture the growth of a move up or a move down, right? Or they're 60 years old and they've lived in the house for 10 years and it's a 2-story, 3,000 square foot homes, right? So these are all the ones that are going to fit into that likely seller based on data on the property that we can capture. Then we will deploy the home report to them. We nurture them, we capture those behaviors, and then we deploy that to you as those events trigger. So that's where, again, a lot of this beautiful thing is kind of coming to play for you to be able to have these consistent conversations and, ultimately finding a way to push through so that we're not as affected. Because the one thing I want everybody that dropped a Y in there, I love that you guys were so honest and straightforward. However, a lot of times we get to control the future. It doesn't mean that the Y is not going to still exist, because people are going to move slower. We have to have more conversations. We have to have more leads. And we ultimately have to consistently put ourselves in more home selling conversations. So sometimes that looks like, hey, where if my target deal flow was 25 deals last year, and let's say I hit it, but this year based on hey, we're going to have a 10% reduction, and I'm just using airy fairy numbers here, a 10% reduction in deal volume. Well, I have to overcome that 10% reduction by having 10%, 20%, and probably I'm going to challenge it, having 25% more conversations, because you're going to have a lot of people that are going to be sitting on that fence. They're going to want to see what's going on with the administration change. They're going to want to see what's going on with the tariffs and how it affects, and are the interest rates going to come down, and what is the affordability? How expensive are eggs going to get? How expensive is my next trip to Costco? Right? So these are all things that we have to think about on that hyper local level. And the beautiful thing that we get to control, guys, is let's control the controllables. And the things that we can control is the conversations that we're going to have. So if we have a reliable lead source that's showing me what these folks are doing, I'm getting a cheat code on, really my time, right? That's one of the biggest, best, greatest things that we have done in this is we are giving you back some of your time. So instead of just taking a blind 100 names or a blind whatever lead list that you have, we're now capturing those behaviors. Then, and again, soon to be out, we're creating a seller score. So the scoring system will do all of it for you and categorize it so that you know who you should be focusing on. Again, just really cool stuff that's coming out here. Now, there's 3 things I want us to be thinking about when we look at the audience of who should we be focusing on right now. Okay, so part of one of the things that's going to make you super successful in today's times is you taking a look and actually grading your audience as well. So the system, of course, is intelligent. The online behaviors are intelligent, but there's nothing that replaces a conversation. Nothing. You have if you have the desire to level up your closings and do more in a time and leaner times, which is completely possible, because let me go off script here real quick, because I just want to really drive this home. All of you that are on here, you are the everyday practitioner. So there's 1.5 million, give or take, real estate agents across America. We all know that there's a massive thatching that's going on right now. Well, the transactions, yes, they're compressed, but when we have a transaction compression of 10, 20%, from the highs, and we see more like 20 or 30% of the real estate agents leaving the business, that actually goes in our favor, guys. So there's more transactions to go around to less real estate agents. That's the beauty of it. So I want you to weather that storm. And again, I want everybody that's on this to get your unfair share. And how we get that unfair share is we level up our activities. We level up our ability to have intelligent home selling conversations, right? So this is where it's our job to find people that are looking for certainty. That certainty of, can I get the payment that I want? Can I get a certain price for my house? Can I get the cash that I need to be able to move from here to there? Or they need the certainty of a relocation, or they're, again, life demand, whatever event, whether it be a growth, a shrink in the family, not shrink, but like decreasing, right? Kids move out, empty nesters, that's what I'm talking about. Maybe their household is getting dissolved due to divorce, right? All very real things that we are at the center of, wanting to make sure that we are there to assist them. Now, the next one is going to be the speed, right? And the speed in which that we can do things and execute. I'm going to challenge that there's a lot of people that a lot of agents that miss out on transactions because of their inability to create the result in the time frame that makes sense for that client. Case in point, expireds and canceled listings, right? I mean, that's to me just the most obvious ones. Not only that, those of us, I know it's certainly happened to me. How many times have you had a buyer that you've written an offer 2, 3, 4, 5 for, and all of a sudden they get discouraged, and all of a sudden you get that dreadful email that they're going to back out of the market and wait till next season, right? Those are all things that have happened. Do me a favor, drop a Y in the chat if you've ever gotten those fun emails from the buyers that were so hot to trot, and now they're going to, be on this, they're going to kick the can down the road and wait on that sideline. Like I said, if that's happened to you before, do me a favor, drop a Y in that chat, because I actually have a framework, if I get a few of those, that I'll share with the group on how you could go back to those people and ultimately get them off the fence and back into the market. Okay, cruising along here. I'm gonna skip over this guy here. Okay, this is a huge one. So one of the things that we're really aiming to solve in today's times is, think about this. I would imagine almost all of us that are on here today have bought or sold a home for ourselves. Now, the reason why I want you to think about this as a consumer, right, is we a lot of times think of things very different as a consumer than when we are the real estate agent. Well, I want you to put that consumer hat on. How long does it take you to potentially make a big financial decision? Maybe you're that person that you see the dream home and you act right now. Maybe you're the person that needs to go back and look at your comps, calculate your equity, figure out your down payment, figure out what's my payment going to be. Can we make this make financial sense? Or maybe you're the person that, you're very conservative, and if this doesn't fit, you're going to just kind of sit on the sidelines and you're waiting for the market. Or you're the person that's, dang, I can get this price for my house, I'm going to go ahead and sell and wait for the next downturn and try to take advantage of the market, right? These are different psychologies in which consumers operate off of. Now, which one you are, I don't know, but you're going to have to assess that for yourself. And what I want you to do is think about this very, very strong fact that has been reported by Carrie Wheeler, who is the CEO of Open Door. Now, the reason why I know Kayla talks about them often, I certainly talk about them often, because even though they're not as prevalent as they were a couple of years ago, the reality of it is they are still a publicly traded company, and they still acquired 15,000 houses across America last year. 15,000, right? One company in about, let's just say 40 markets was able to do that. And so when you really look at that, that's actually a very sizable demand. And the reality of it is they are constantly studying these consumers' behaviors. And not only that, they have a duty to report these things in their shareholder reports. So what she had shared and why they have unveiled their, Open Door Insights. Yes, Open Door Insights is what it's called, is basically a digital home report. So our competitors, guys, are constantly looking at innovating and creating these types of things. Well, guess what? You've had and have this tool at your fingertips for a while. So if you have not chose into the deploying the home report, you're really missing out. And look at the screen, because this is why. It's not cash offer one that they go to Open Door and decide to sell their house, right? It's the follow-up. 70% of the people that ended up taking an offer from Open Door came after offer request number 1. That is insane huge, guys. And that's because they're defining this offer or this option as a baseline, but then for whatever reason, it goes up, goes down, the timelines, maybe they had a new build, whatever their life circumstance event was, they needed to click that quick sell button. Now, I'm also going to challenge that most of these people knew that they could potentially get more on the open market. But it was that certainty, that speed, and that convenience, as you saw a few slides ago, that they were willing to give up a portion of their equity to sell quickly. And the other thing I want to just, encourage everybody to be thinking about, because I know so many times us as real estate agents, we want to hang our hat on, I'll get you the most money, I'll get you the most money, I'll get you the most money. However, true fiduciary is representing my client's highest and best interest. And it's my job to uncover, what does that look like for them? Is it speed? Is it certainty? Is it convenience? While still getting them as much money as possible. That's, again, the different conversation that you guys get to have with them here at Zoodealio, because of the fact that you're genuinely going to give them a full market value cash offer, so much so that the house is going to be resold on the open market and the difference goes back to them. Again, it's a guaranteed full market value cash offer, and the only hurdle really and difference is going to be the program fee in which that exists, right? So there's always a cost for a service, and that's the difference. So all right, back to what I want to uncover and share with you guys here is being able to scale out your message, being able to monitor your clientele, your prospects, your leads, so that you're not missing out on this opportunity, right? This is how we want to engage our clients. We want to say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Homeowner, maybe I met you at open house last year. Maybe I met you from my IDX and I've never met you in person. I've talked to you on the phone, or I haven't ever even talked to you. But I want to invite you to look at your home details right here in real time, where you can see things like your home value, see your home equity, what you could rent your house for, or hey, if you've ever thought about comparing renting your house versus selling your house, I have a calculator right here so that you can stay informed and stay in the know on your greatest asset. All right, sorry for the delay there. I'm usually pretty quick between my screen shares, but this is again, just really amazing information. I want to show you guys something here. What we have done is I really kind of take you through giving you the frameworks of what you need to do to be able to have, like I said, to be able to grow your business in a time of of recension for most agents, right? The reality of it is the industry, like I said before, is going to be going through a thatching. There's less agents, less deals to go around. But if you can weather this storm, the deal production and the deal average per the agent, I did this, a year or so ago. When you really look at the math, a lot of times there ends up being more transactions per an agent, at least as far as an opportunity goes. So get that unfair share, because so many people that are part-timers or do a deal here, do a deal there, they're getting out of the business because it's too expensive. There's not enough leads. There's too many people waiting on the, sitting on that fence. So jump in. Let me show you what this looks like. All right. So what this is essentially a calculator of a performance on what can you expect. Now, I'm a math guy, right? I would imagine, I know my audience here. I've had a conversation on some level with, again, we got a good size audience here today, but I've had a conversation with you on some level in some way, shape, or form. So you know that I'm a math guy, and it's just, the logic, the path is math, and it's one of the things that we just kind of really, it's tough to deny. So I want to look at this because this is something that within the Seller Source Lead Program, over the course of the year, you're looking at probably getting 1,000 plus leads. And what does that mean? How does that perform for you, right? So first of all, a lot of these leads they're going to be in that non-met database. These are people that we're capturing their events. We are going to nurture them within the Zoodealio AI home report, and then it goes directly to you, right? That is the frameworks that we are moving towards to be doing in a big scale, right? Because I can go in and get these events by literally the millions, nurture them, and as they cure, they then deploy to you, and you're going to get the event history and be able to have a conversation. Now it's up to you to be able to warm that lead up and put yourself in that conversation based on what they're doing. But that's why you'll see I click this from a non-met basis. Now, I do want you to know that if you have like a database of your own people that when they think of you, they think of real estate, let's say you have a good sized database of, contacts, you've been in the game a minute, you've been a door knocker, right? Whatever, prospector, whatever that looks like, people that you've had conversations with, look at how well this will perform for even 1,000 people, right? You're talking about potentially adding over $100,000 in GCI to your bottom line. But we took a much more conservative approach because these are people that we have not met. We haven't had a conversation with them. So now I need to find a way to give my unique value proposition to them. But here's the beauty of it, right? So what I want you to see here is with 1,000 homeowners being monitored in the AI home report. Again, something that the Seller Source system is going to do for you. What is going to be that return? How much money can you add to your bottom line over the course of the year? Now, this of course works, better if you're even more of a go-getter, right? So these are all based on things of, that we can capture, like with open rates, right? As you're going to see here in just a second, I'm going to show you that we're beating these open rates. But again, we wanted to give you a very tangible number of what does this look like on your bottom line. So this right here, the 1,000 commission that's paid out, right? Kind of giving you the context, the median sales price, so that you can really kind of see that this is not just something that we threw against the wall. This is absolutely a calculator that we built so you could know what was going on. Now, I want to talk about this real quick, because this to me, when I look at this always kind of like gets me going. And the reason why it gets me going is because, again, these are just facts. Allow me to explain. So if we take 1,000 homeowners and we factor the turnover rate, right, this is the approximate current turnover rate, because we sold about 4 million houses last year. I think this is actually 2023 home sales, but it was slightly less than this last year, roughly 4 million. It was barely less. So the turnover rate is, let's just call it 4.5%. Right? So that means every 1,000 people I know, these are the unit counts that are factually going to happen. And the reason why that is because of the people that are selling their house, verified year after year by NAR and Zillow, which again, two of the best data trackers out there, is that ranges anywhere from about 60 to 63% on the given year of people when they sell a house are also going to buy a house, right? So this again we're talking about 73 units per every 1,000 people you know. That's what's possible. Now, do I think that that's probable? Of course not, right? Because that would be capturing 100%, and we all know that we're not going to capture 100%. But what would it look like, guys, to put ourselves in the conversations of these 73%? And that's exactly what the home report is designed to do, is ensure that we capture those behaviors so that we can insert ourselves in these conversations, so that I can call people up and, say, hey, Kevin, it's Elliot. Hey, we haven't had a chance to meet yet, but I wanted to give you a quick call because I see that you were checking out the different cash offer options in the home report that I've been sending you the last 6 months. And hey, the reason for this call is I was curious, did you want to know how those work? Because those are some really cool, new, compelling options. Or were you actually thinking about getting a cash offer? Because it's no cost, no obligation, and just sometimes a really good baseline for you to see how it would work for you, right? It shows them their specific number, right? That's kind of that baseline offer, as we all know. But what we're doing is we're using that as the conversation starter, right? So then Kevin, they say yes, no, maybe so. Yeah, we've been kind of thinking about it. The wife has been looking, she's getting that itch. We've been here for 7 years. Intel, right? That's the whole point of what I'm doing, is I want to gather intel so that I can be the best practitioner for them. And now I'm using the tool to insert myself in this deal. So again, of course, I'm doing a, just kind of off the cuff role play here for you guys. But this is, again, where the system, because of these units that are possible, the open rates, and by the way, we're only factoring, these are dedicated leads, meaning could they be in somebody else's ecosystem because they registered in realtor.com or whatever? Of course. But from us, these are dedicated leads, dedicated behaviors. These are not being shared with, you're the only Zoodealio member that this data is being shared with. And so what we have found, guys, is that we're talking about creating 180 leads, reasons to contact and have conversations with these homeowners, with 36 of them triggering as hot. Right now, this is part of that seller score that I keep kind of talking about, like, again, that will be out literally in a few weeks. If these are folks that trigger as, hey, drop what you're doing and go make contact, because these people are likely to do something between now and the next couple of months, right? These are tremendous opportunities. You don't want to miss out on it. Now, with this, again, very conservatively, we were saying, hey, this is going to give you 2 additional listings to your bottom line over the course of the year if you work this correctly. And then, of course, because you've already created the relationship, you're able to give a value add, whatever that looks like to you. You are going to be able to also help them buy their next house. So again, from a very conservative fashion, you're looking at adding approximately $30,000 to your GCI. Now, I would imagine a lot of you are like, all right, this sounds cool. I'd like to check it out. Especially those of you that are watching this, possibly on replay. To run this level of home report, it's going to cost you, at 1,000 would cost you $150 a month, right? So what is that, $1,800 over the course of the year to potentially add $30,000 to your bottom line. These are the tools, guys, that are going to pull you through these changing markets. These are the tools that are going to help you grow your business and keep you relevant in the conversation. Keep you relevant because you are being seen as that data, that authoritarian of information, and the person who is the gatekeeper to remodeling their house, selling it for top dollar with $0 out of their pocket. You're that gatekeeper that's going to allow them to cash out, lease back their house for a monthly fee while they prepare to move to their next property, right? Whether it's a transfer, transfer across the city, a relocation across the states, right? Whatever that looks like from that needs assessment, you are the one that gets to bring that to them and have these conversations. I see my chat's going a little bit crazy here, guys. I'm gonna get to it here in just 1 second, but I wanna make sure that we're cruising along here. So real quick, this is, to me, again, where the rubber just meets the road. This is, again, a live look. I don't have a ton of data in my personal account. As you know, this is Zoodealio is obviously my 150% focus, but I want to show you guys what this looks like, how it performs, what's going on with the audience that I have. So I have myself in here, right? And I actually opened this, you know, as it dropped in my account. You know, the email came to me this morning. So I want to show you what you would see. Well, here is what's so cool, guys. There's so many events and notices that we want to capture because of all of the different things that are inside the home report that are engaging to that consumer. They want to click it, they want to adjust it, they want to get those numbers, you know, dialed in for their greatest asset, their home. So as you can see, like right here this morning, I adjusted my home value because I've done a remodel on my house and I want to get it dialed in. So it has comps of my house at this, but that has the value, right? So I adjusted my value on my property to this. Now it logs and stores that. Again, this is a prime opportunity for me to now reach out to me, you know, my prospective seller and say, hey, we see that you adjusted the home value. I'd be delighted to just do a quick updated CMA for you so that you could know how your house would perform in today's market. It's almost kind of like an appraisal that's $0 out of pocket to you. I could have it to you this afternoon. Would it be good for me? Would it be okay if I shared that with you in your email? Absolutely. I'd love to see what's going on in my neighborhood. Yeah, it's going to show you not only what's for sale, it'll show you what's sold over the last 6 months, and it'll show you, you know, some of the other trends and things that are going on in your area. I'd be delighted to do this for you on your subdivision and even as much as your zip code. Would that be of service to you? Yeah, that's really cool, right? So again, these are, again, a tool that's inserting me into the conversation because now I'm bringing the conversation to them based on something that they did. Okay, now let me show you just how surgical we can get with all of this, guys. So you have the different offers, right? I want to show you how easy this is to do, right? So now I can actually come up here. I can look at this PDF. I can look at the different cash offer options that are all available. I can save this to a PDF that I already kind of did before. And now I have just something this simple to drop off, right? So if I have other cool little listing things that I want to do that makes us unique, and hey, we're not in the market, you know, we're probably about 12 months away, but yeah, I'd like to see what's going on with my value, etc. Well, we can drop these things off now, and these are, you know, key differentiators because not everybody else is walking by or dropping by and giving them their cash offer breakdown, and you know, with QR codes that they can scan in, and you're instantly getting notified when that client is checking out these cash offer options, right? Okay, this is what I want to show you guys. All right, so this is, again, in real time what I was doing, right? So as you can see, per the date that was right here, I looked at my market overview. I looked at my, you know, my home estimate value. As you saw, I adjusted my value, locked it in. And then I also, today, as you can see per the date right here, I asked the AI, why is the cash offer, you know, low? Because my home value, you're telling me even based on this, it's got a value of roughly 1.1. Well, why is the cash offer that only makes sense to me because I know what the cash offer is, but I'm maybe not so sure what the cash plus is, the sell now or move later. But those are opportunities for you as the real estate agent to call them and have that intelligent conversation with them, educating them on options that their house qualifies for. Okay, so it gives it the breakdown, but of course what I want you to know right here is check this out. It's all centered around you. So this happens to have my name and my telephone number, my email address in here. But guess whose name and number is in there and email address is in there when this is done on your behalf? Of course, you and your account, right? I want you to think about Z as that digital assistant that doesn't get sick, doesn't call in. It just goes out there, engages these prospects, then serves it back to you in real time so that you are constantly growing your business and capturing new leads and opportunities. So, all right, let me see here. Go back. Okay, one other quick thing I want to touch on here, and I see that, let me take a look at some of these questions in here in just a moment. Now, one other notification I wanted to share with everybody is these have a lot to do with the scores and everything else that's going on. So as you can see here, I'm going to open up these notifications that I have that's going on, right? And these are all of the different events that are going on that I'm capturing. So these are my leads that I'm getting these opportunities, right? We all know how effective the IDX systems have been, because even though it's, King Kong at leavemealone.com, well, King Kong at leavemealone.com, the amount of stories that I've heard of Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and whoever else the registration was that they ended up converting. Well, the difference here is, guys, is this is their house, right? They can register on your IDX site and put in all the bogus bunk information they want to, because they're just shopping for a house. But this is their house. This is their rental property, their friend's property, whatever that looks like. This is an opportunity where we have a tangible address. Again, cheat code, right? Like, guys, do yourself a favor, plug into this and make sure that you are having these kinds of conversations. These will help you grow your business, help you do more deals, help you get all of the things going that you're wanting to do. All right. I know I kind of just dumped on you guys on so much stuff right there. So I'm going to take a look at some of these questions. Do me a favor, give me a thumbs up if you followed with everything that I have here. Do me also, I'm very curious with our audience today. Give me a yes or a no if you have the home report active on your account. Okay, yeah, go ahead and drop those in the chat. Let's see, Kevin. Let's see. Yes. All right. So Kevin says, would marketing be able to put a date on the infographic they supply? Yes. Kevin, what do you? So the graphic inside the slides that I originally started with? Because yes, if so, we can definitely put a date on that. That's easy. So Penny, hey mom. Penny's my mom that's on here today. Hope you're doing well. Yes, you will receive these slides. We will be delighted to put them in there, and so you guys can have them, of course. We will receive the slides from today's meeting. Yes. Okay, cool. Shay, let's see. Yes. Okay. Penny, are these Zoodealio's home sold or stats from Arizona home sales? So the graphs that I was using earlier when we were going through those are actually national home sales, right? So that's why you had 500. It was in increments of hundreds of thousands. So case in point, right? When there's about 4 million to 6 million home sales a year, which is where we usually range, right? 6 million on the high, 4 million on the low. Those are in the hundreds of thousands of sales per month. So national data. Blanca, how are you doing? I know I already shouted you out earlier. Why do my lists have a second assignee? Blanca, do me a favor, email me directly on that, because I'm not following you to be able to answer that. Let's see, Kevin does not have the home report. Okay, good. We got a lot of people that do. Good. Okay. I'm also curious in here too. Those of you that have the home report running, those open rates, I've seen them, they're starting to tick up, right? Are you using the notifications? Are you plugging into the activity, the activity logs, so you can have really cool conversations? I know that we've already been setting a ton of listing appointments within Seller Source, getting deals going, the whole thing. It's really it's like watching a child grow. It's amazing. With that said, curious to know how this is working for you guys. Are you looking at those activities? Is it helping you have good conversations with your prospects? Do me a favor, drop a Y in the chat if that is working for you. Okay, Kevin. Yeah, okay, good. We got a lot of people. All right, Joel. How will you convince a prospect that Zoodealio's cash offer is better than listing their home on the market? Joel, thank you so much for bringing this one up. I'm going to repeat this again, so grab everybody's attention. His question was, how will you convince a prospect that Zoodealio cash offer is better than listing on the market? So Joel, for starters, I can't always. It depends on the circumstance of the prospect, right? So it also depends on the property. And the biggest thing that as I alluded to earlier, is it's all about fiduciary, me representing their highest and best interests. So in order for me to determine if potentially a cash offer is better, I have to do a needs and wants assessment from that particular prospect. And there are times, right, that I'm going to lead with that cash offer because I can tell them, hey, Joel, you know, based on what we've seen here, and you know, you needing to get to your new house or get relocated in the time frame that you've specified, this cash offer is going to allow you to access the greater portion of your equity right now. Then we're going to come in, we're going to remodel or update or clean up, whatever that looks like for the property. Then we're going to turn around and sell it for top dollar. Now, the beautiful thing that we're going to do with this, Joel, is once we have come in and we've really given your property the shine it deserves, we are going to present it in a big way to the marketplace. We have what's called a resale and marketing plan that I want to share with you that actually the company that we work with on this requires us to do to make sure that we market your property to all available buyers, which will maximize the value, maximize the opportunity, and ultimately help us get the rest of your equity back in your pocket as fast as possible. How does that sound? Right? So now what I'm going to do with that is, again, by the way, if you guys want the resale marketing plan, we absolutely will share it with you, because it is something that we do require you as the agent to be a part of selling, right? It has to do with high-end photos, just positioning, marketing, right? Doing all the things that we need to do to get the property sold for as much as possible, as quick as possible, right? And so that's the beauty of what the cash plus or the cash plus with repairs will do. Maybe it's a property that doesn't need a whole lot of repairs. It just needs to be cleaned and presented, which we'll come in and do. Now, Joel, that's the beauty of what this does. This allows you to come in and say, hey, here's the cash offer that I have for you, but it comes in stages. And you know, I would say, and a lot of people I'm sure would agree with me on here, probably the overwhelming majority of the time, people want all of their equity right away, right? It's the acceptance rate is a begging 5%. Well, that allows you to say, hey, I thought that might be the case, so I went ahead and did a market analysis and how fast we believe the absorption rate will be on your property. Then you need to intelligently show them, hey, based on this price, putting this much money in your pocket, here's the anticipated time to sell. And A, B, and C is what we need to do to get your property in condition to meet the things that I have outlined here. What that does is it shows that you're the surgeon, you're the pilot, and you are going to get them through this process. And you are the professional, Joel, that's at the center of the deal, winning the transaction, whether it's a listing or whether it's the cash offer. And that's primarily what Zoodealio is designed to do. Yes, we give you access to all the cash buyers that are going to take down the property, and we want them to win. But at the end of the day, you are our client, and we want to ensure that you are at the center of the transaction, winning, whether it's a cash deal or winning at the listing. So I know that was a bit of a long answer, but I wanted everybody to be sure, you know, really clear on that framework in which that I just laid everything out. Okay, let's see. Yes. So definitely, you guys. So the next person, GRT. Yeah, you definitely need to jump into the home report. Like I said, it's a cheat code for the business. I cannot stress to you guys enough. I mean, again, those of you guys know I've been in the real estate game for a minute almost. Gosh, I got licensed in 06. I am literally knocking on the door of 20 years. That is wild to think about. But anyway, these are things, and we all know that with CRMs, and the game is just constantly changed. It's incredibly easier than when I got started, candidly. this is one of those things that just puts it easy on, like, it's rocket fuel. And when we get crystal clear that my job is still to make contact, right? This is a contact sport, as I like to refer to it. I have to go out there and have conversations. And I want the tools, assets, and resources that are going to put me in position to be the rainmaker, right? So those of you that are running teams, have those systems and processes. My primary job is to be having those types of conversations. Maybe I'm to the point to where I'm leveraging that and I have, first tier down, and I'm mentoring those agents that are having the conversations. Either way though, no matter what role you're at here, think about it as time. It doesn't matter, the greatest equalizer of all is time. One of my favorite statements, going off script here, is what's the difference between a rich man and a poor man? What they do with their time. Right? And I think that this is along those same time frames or same thought processes, is when we can get more out of the time that we're putting into something to get a better result, the win is literally immeasurable. So jump in, get that time back, have the conversations, put yourself in more deals, right? Yeah, Joel. These scripts, so a lot of the frameworks that I just gave for you guys, those scripts, it's absolutely in the script book. Just as an FYI, if you go into your Zoodealio account, you click on marketing, then the scripts tab, and a lot of those scripts are right there. Virtually all of those were written by the Zoodealio team, Kayla, myself. So you'll find a pretty healthy library there. And yes, this webinar is recorded. Of course, as always, it will be sent out to you guys. Let's see, how much will it cost to subscribe to Seller Source? Please send me some more details on that. So the beautiful thing about Seller Source is, guys, is it's actually a one-time fee of $399, and then you have to have the home report. So if you were a part of a lot of the enterprise accounts, the home report does not come with that. If you are the owner of your account, it will come with that. But you do need to have the AI home report. If you're a long-time member, before we add in the home report, you may need to add that on. So to add on the first 500 clients that the system manages and monitors for you, all the things that I showed, that cost $99 a month. So that's the only monthly cost. But the $399 is an administrative fee that the leads will start flowing to you. Now, this is a little bit of a shocker, but again, I would imagine everybody on here that's a part of Seller Source can certainly attest to this. The beautiful thing is within Seller Source is you're going to be able to anticipate about 50 plus leads per month. So don't hesitate, jump in. Like I shared with you before, our goal is going to be our goal is to get you over that 1,000 per year so that you can create the results that I saw there. And the beautiful thing on the Seller Source is I did forget one other thing, and this is just for us why we got so fixated on creating this, is we wanted to create a win-win. So there is a 30% referral fee in any of the leads because we pull them in, we nurture them, we incubate that, right? And we're doing a lot of, we're actually getting ready to kick off the national ad campaign. We are still early, guys, in the Seller Source. We have about 6 different sources that we are going to add in and deploy. We're only about 3 or 4 in right now. And so the beauty of it is think about that. The lead flow that you guys are getting right now, we are still going to be tapping in and pulling in more sources to be able to deploy to you. The reality of it is we want to create that omnipresence to where you are showing up in their email inbox, you are showing up in their post mailbox, you're showing up in their voicemail, and even a text message if it's applicable circumstance, and even in their social feeds, right, with the ads. The beautiful thing here, guys, is we want to put you at the center of the deal, servicing these clients. Just as I had alluded to before, whether you can bring a cash offer at full market value that makes sense to them, or we need to put their house on the open market. Either way, you're at the center of it, assisting these people, giving them the service that they deserve. So as always, guys, thank you so much for being here with me. I hope you got something out of today's episode. As always, don't be afraid if you're watching this in rerun to hit the like button. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe, and the notification bell so that you are notified every time we drop a new episode. Have a great week, and we will catch you soon. Thank you guys so much.